Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
I kind of like the caretakers, the nuns.
They are fun.
Yeah, whoever acted them out, nailed it. They remind me of 3 fairy godmothers in Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
I don't know, they're kind of fun, but that scene is ultimately unnecessary, so... I don't know, cut it.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Todd Hoffman, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 69. Today we're going to talk about the deleted scenes in The Last Jedi. Joining me in this discussion today is Mr. Aaron Hooligan.
Back again. Here I am.
The hooligan is back, my friend.
Yep. Back for more trouble.
All right. Heather has a night off, so you're stuck with us two ugly mugs. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get done.
For better or for worse, richer or poorer, sickness and in health.
We're gonna bring you some Star Wars content.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So can't wait. Yeah, exactly. So check us out on the social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Jeez. You can catch us on all our back catalog of episodes, 68 of them, soon to be 69, at www.wstrmedia.com. 4 W's, couple other letters, Media.
Or just throw it in there. Google will show you the way.
That's right. Exactly. How many W's? 4. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook, download, and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. That's www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. They have 180 titles, a bazillion. You could download them on your iPhone, your Android device, or for your old school MP3 players, or maybe even your cassette. I don't know. Maybe they have a way to...
Books on tape, dude.
Books on tape, right? Exactly.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Go to your local library, pick up a big, thick binder full of tapes.
Tapes. Lots of cassette tapes. If, for you, our listeners, you get Audible, Audible's offering a free Audible download with a free 30-day trial, and it gives you an opportunity to check out their service. I am listening to The Last Shot. It's called, well, it's not The Last Shot. It's Last Shot. It's by Danielle Jose Eldora, and it's serves an tie-in for the upcoming Solo, a Star Wars story.
You're doing your homework.
It was recently released on April 17th. And dude, I love it. It's jumps all over the place. And this is my first audiobook experience, and there's sound effects and
really,
yeah, it's
how are you enjoying it so far?
I like my books, man. I got my little library, So
yeah, dude.
Yeah, but I like it. I mean, I think it adds it definitely adds to experience because you have somebody doing all the different voices, and it's sound effects, and yeah, it's a really good story. It jumps around a lot, which is interesting, both in present tense, and then it kind of goes in the past. And yeah, it's a very interesting story, and it's a Lando Han Solo caper. It's good. It's good.
Does it brighten up your commute from the Outer Rim?
It does. I've been listening to it for the last week or so. I'm like, this is very much fun. So once again,
this man, he travels an hour each way from home to work.
2 hours, man.
By the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's car, train, walking. It's all right there.
Plane, train, automobile.
Yeah, boat.
But hey, now he could be reading a book the whole time.
Dude, I'm in the Star Wars universe when I'm walking in Chicago. It's a good time. It's a good time. So
yeah, dude.
yeah, so again, you can try out a free trial with audibletrial.com/WSTR. It's free on us. And check it out. And
don't forget, if you get your trial, you get your free book, and you cancel the trial, you get to keep the book.
Oh, it's downloaded.
How about that?
Downloaded forever on cassette tape, so you can get it right there.
Don't pirate this book.
There you go. All right. Shall we move on to the news of the week?
And now, the Star Wars news of the week.
All right. We're in full-blown Han Solo season, my friend. We are like 24 days away.
Yeah.
So
coming up quickly.
Coming up quickly. So Sunday, they released a little featurette. And so this featurette has obviously some new scenes, and Ron Howard kind of goes into this will be a different than any other Star Wars movie linked to the franchise, he says. So, Aaron, without much further ado, should we just roll the thing and check it out?
Roll the tape.
Roll the tape.
The Star Wars universe that we see in Solo was different from anything else that we've seen in any previous Star Wars movies. The Empire controls everything. Everyone is struggling to survive, but we discover this incredibly free spirit.
We're meeting Han right before he becomes the Han that we know. You end up getting to see how this guy got to be the way he is. It's all part of this great expansion of the Han Solo world.
It's a rite of passage.
You look good.
The tests he needs to face, the challenges he has to endure to become
Han Solo.
Those first encounters with Chewbacca.
You're gonna need a nickname, because I ain't saying that every time.
With the Millennium Falcon. With Lando Calrissian.
Did you win your ship playing cards?
I like this kid.
They're in this movie.
I'm a driver. A great pilot.
He's the most exciting character in the saga for me. You don't know what he's gonna do.
I'm a terrible person.
He's reckless.
He does these stupid things that should never work. And they do.
I'm fine!
And he does it with bravado. I might be the only person who knows what you really are.
What's that?
Well, Todd.
Wow.
That was quite the featurette.
It was pretty amazing. There's a lot of different things in this featurette that I love. First of all, this cinematography is bananas. It's bananas.
It's tasty.
It's tasty. Yeah, I mean, you get the cool speeder shot of like him on the bridge, and there's a lot of it's like this 70s noir thing going on, I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it feels like a crime movie. Like it's nice and gritty, not as clean as Last Jedi and Force Awakens.
Correct. And also it kind of really, really implies that Han was a mud trooper.
Yeah. So or disguised as one.
Yes, I'm kind of guessing he was in it because he's an Imperial.
Really?
I think he's in the Academy at that point. So,
do you think he gets sent to like the worst place to be in the army?
I believe that is Minbin, which is like just a slum hole, and obviously if your troopers are called mud troopers, it's muddy. So
Not very flattering.
It's a mud planet, you know. And so the featurette basically kind of cuts between some new footage and some of the actors talking about it. And I really like what Emilia Clarke says is like, he always gets in trouble, but somehow he still makes his way out of it, you know, somehow.
That's Han.
That's Han. He makes it up as he goes, and it's not really the best, but it always kind of pans out for him, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of cool little scenes right there. And the other thing, like Lauren Kansdian said, he's the most exciting character in the saga for me. You don't know what he's going to do. He's reckless. And yeah. And that's what Emilia...
Strong words.
Yeah. Emilia said the same thing. He does these stupid things and should never work, and they do. He does it with bravado. So I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much Han Solo. So yeah, Kasdian loves some Han Solo, and obviously, I mean, for me, like I still like with Empire, it's just so Han's dialogue and relationship with Leia in that is fantastic. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What's your what's your favorite part of the featurette, the new footage that we've seen?
The shot on the bridge where he puts the dice in. So there's the connection with the dice. I really love how that shot where it's like it goes in from light to dark with the shadows. I really like that part. And I really like him.
You think that's going to be like a lucky charm throughout the movie?
Yes. Yeah. I also like him jumping from wherever he's at onto the train, the moving train, and he just kind of screams. He's like, ah! Yeah. Just like, yeah.
Seems like a newbie when he does that. Yeah. To me, that felt like he was like really inexperienced, and the jump really wasn't that tall, right? or that dangerous. Yeah, but he's just like throws himself into it.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
Oh man, seeing all the costume designs, the different sets, and we get a little bit more of what's that droid's name?
L3.
Yeah. We get some more footage of her. Probably that dice shot is pretty cool. We finally see that. Yeah. And I'm really liking the Han and Lando banter and the Han and Chewie banter. Like when Han like asks him if Lando won the Falcon in a card game, and he just laughs. And what is it that he says afterwards? It's like, I like this guy already.
Yeah, I like this guy. And then Lando getting he likes his alien ladies too, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
He's into some freaky stuff.
Yeah. There's some freaky bug that walks, like kind of goes out of the water, like, yeah. I don't know if this is our like bull gullet of Han Solo, but I'm like, dude, that's kind of creepy, And I also like the part where Chewie tells him his name, and he's like, "That's too long. We have to come up with a nickname." So I thought that was cool. Yeah, but
I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to take my complete uncertainty and fear for how the movie will turn out and turn it into almost a confidence that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I know I'm putting myself into a box by saying that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope I'm not disappointed by this movie.
Those are strong words. Don't disappoint me, Ron
Don't
Howard,
disappoint
please.
me. Yeah. Or you will not disappoint me again.
Yeah. You know what I'm more curious about too is like, is this all new footage? Or are they going to use, like, I'm kind of curious about like how
do you mean?
With the, like, with the other directors, Lord and Miller, like, did they use any of their footage, or is this all, I don't know.
Yeah, like what percentage of it is still Lord and Miller? Do they completely wipe the slate clean and it's all Ron Howard's doing, or is it more like 80% Lord and Miller and Ron's basically just taking it across the end zone?
Well, the other thing too is like they kept the same cinematographer, so it's shot. We had that episode that Han Solo Space Cowboy a while back. It's straight up Silverado. There's so many like different like little Western-esque things, and I'm excited about that for sure.
Have you seen the posters?
Of course I've seen the posters.
Yeah, they look like
they look like Westerns.
Yeah, they look like Western posters from the 60s, like spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
It's I'm excited.
And I know I'm saying that like marketing, which is strictly designed to get me excited about the movie, is awesome.
You're just taking up the crack. I know. So tickets haven't gone on sale. So I've been hearing rumors May the 4th, which is this Friday. So
really, that
just
quickly?
throwing out, yeah. Well, because by May the 4th, it's 3 weeks from the 4th, so yeah. So it's like, we gotta kind of need those tickets,
So just FYI, the cinematographer, Bradford Young, he did Arrival, he did Pawn Sacrifice, he did Selma, he did A Most Violent Year. So he's got some good heavy contenders under his belt.
Yes. Yeah. I'm super excited. Super stoked. All right. Moving on. Number 2. All right.
We have to talk about this.
Yeah, There's
no way we're getting past it.
No, it's a few dozen.
We're talking about limited piece. No, Infinity War.
Avengers. Infinity War.
That was perhaps the worst joke I've ever made.
You've made some bad jokes, but that was pretty bad, my friend.
Yeah.
So I think we said this last week, the pre-sales were blown out, like the last 8 pre-sale Marvel movies, it combined didn't even match up to the pre-sale of Infinity War. And,
jeez, dude.
Yeah.
And Black Panther already broke some records with that.
Yes. So now Avengers Infinity War just blew it out of the water. It sunk the ship of The Force Awakens. And
it blew up the whole harbor.
It blew it up. So global opening record of $630 million.
That's a lot.
The world's second, and it hasn't even opened up in China yet, which it opens May 11th. And again, Fate of the Furious had the world mark at 541.9 million.
Really?
Infinity
Fate
War.
of the Furious?
Yes. They like their cars in the foreign market. They like our American cars.
They like cars and explosions and punching. So
that's pretty much what Fast and Furious.
That's probably why they turned out to Infinity War, because you have cars and explosions and punching.
Guys,
super punching,
bam! No, that's Batman. So 630 million, and just like recent, I think it was today. Lucasfilm, it's putting the lightsaber into Thanos' hand. They did like a little poster and said, "Here you go."
Yep.
So yeah, it's not stopping.
I don't know how I feel about that, because it's like it's like Disney congratulating Disney.
It kind of is. It's a little self-serving, but
a little ego stroking. Yeah.
It's like, yes, we own all the top records.
Yep.
But dude, this is 10 years in the making, 18 movies. This is like, it's a big thing. And I think,
this is part 1.
Yeah. That's what
they got. A part 2 coming out.
There's a part 2. Right. They dropped the part 1 in the title, but they leave you hanging, so
This is like Order 66, like working perfectly, like Palpatine working for years behind the scenes, set it all up, and then all the money.
Kevin Feige behind the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. He's like, yes. And in fact, speaking about that, he's like, yeah, we just had a meeting, and we're talking about 2025. Like, I can't even think of next week,
Yeah, like
they got things.
I don't even know what they're serving at breakfast tomorrow.
Right. Well, and then
they're thinking,
and they dropped the Ant-Man Wasp trailer today. Like, no big deal.
Oh yeah, just why not?
No big deal. That's coming
Get
out.
More hype. I'm out of hype, Marvel. I have no hype left to give.
Between Star Wars and this, it's like I don't know what I'm doing. It's like it's too much. It's
bleeding me dry.
We're just glutton. Just like, give me more, man.
Yeah. I'm going to be a lifeless husk by the time this year's over.
So you haven't seen it yet, right? We were just talking before we started recording. You haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Well, follow me here. I did. And I found it really surprising that they killed off Batman.
That's Justice League. Wait, no. Superman died.
Okay, I'm kidding. I have not seen it. So don't go spoiling it for me in the comments. Don't be leaving me voicemails with a bunch of spoilers.
Right, exactly. Okay, and then finally, more Disney news. Disney and the Twitter strike a new live content deal, and basically, they partner with Twitter, and they're going to create live content across its entertainment portfolio. So that means ABC, Disney Channel, Walt Disney Studios, and Marvel. So one of the things that they're talking about too is like, they own ESPN and a lot of social platforms. There's a lot of sports fans obviously out there, and they want to bring sporting events onto the Twitter. So they say the Twitter sports community is a digital roar of the crowd, so there's no better place to start than with ESPN to deliver credible premium content to enrich that conversation, says Matthew Dreller, Twitter Global VP Revenue and Content Partnership. Wow, that's a title. I like that title. So thank you, Matthew.
Put that on the door.
Yeah. What are you? I'm the Global VP Revenue and Content Partnership dude. So there you have it. So yeah, that's that should be interesting. I mean, it'd be, to me, this would be kind of cool where they drop something like a Forces of Destiny type thing on Twitter first or something like that instead of YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure I understand like what's happening here, because it's like,
what does this mean?
They already run ads on Twitter.
Right.
So it's like, are they going to run extra special ads now?
I think it's like exclusive Twitter content or doing something like Twitter Live. I'm not 100% sure. Or just releasing more like, again, like a sports game. They, Go Sports, like they release, that they would be broadcasting on Twitter as well.
That's interesting.
You got that,
I know Facebook Live is a thing, and
right.
Like streaming live on YouTube or Twitch are other like kind of established things, but I've not heard of something like this for Twitter. So I'm just kind of scratching my head at like, why Twitter? What are they exactly planning to do? But
right.
Of course, they probably already know exactly what they're doing because
they know
they're
what
Disney
they're
and they have all the money.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? It's good to be Disney right now.
right. Ruling in the box office, making deals on the side, and building the empire in Florida and California.
So Hawaii, watch out. They're probably going to buy you at some point.
Right. Doesn't America own that?
Walt Disney Island.
Yeah, Disney owns you. All right, so that wraps up our news of the week. Moving on to our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, so last week in episode 68, we covered the director and the Jedi. And so this week, we are going to break down the deleted scenes of The Last Jedi. So yeah, they're, we're actually, the thing I love about The Last Jedi here and the Blu-ray stuff is like, we got all this more content than we ever had from The Force Awakens, which I'm super excited about. And I think part of that is just like, they heard from the people, so, and, so we have quite a few deleted scenes. Some are lengthy and some are just like little bits that they took off. 'Cause again, The Last Jedi clocked in as the longest Star Wars movie to date, but they had quite a few deleted scenes. So we will go through them chronologically for or how they're set up on the DVD, and then shall we get right into it, my friend?
Let's
do it. Okay, so first one, not really a deleted scene. It's just an introduction from Rian Johnson. And he just explains just that, like, hey, we had a lot of content, and as you put the film together, you kind of have to trim it up. So that was pretty much the intro to Ryan. Like, hey, we got all this stuff, and he
remarks that some of his favorite stuff was among the stuff that was cut.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's true for any creative endeavor, is that like at some point you got to kill your baby.
Yeah.
Gotta. You got to trim, you got to cut, you got to release it somehow.
Yeah.
And nobody likes editing, but you got to do it.
You got to do it. Part of it. Yeah. You mean like so many things like, does this make sense? Does this flow well? Just because you love this shot and it's in this whole sequence that probably doesn't really matter. You have to kind of trim some stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So the first one is alternate opening. So this clocks in about 1:32 and kind of different. Kind of opens with some ships. Totally get it. Like they're evacuating the car, but then it pans down to Finn in the Bacta tank. What do you think about this one?
It's a bit of a fake out, like an optical illusion. Like it's supposed to look like a planet, but really it's like the top of the bed thing that he's in.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, do you remember the first teaser for The Force Awakens when it's like Tatooine, it's a desert, and all of a sudden there's that like musical chord that strikes as soon as Finn like stands up and looks around. He's out of breath. He's like, remind me of that. Turns out that scene is like nothing in the actual movie, but little music at the right time will transform anything.
That's right.
It was just like a cute little fake out to what you expect from a Star Wars movie, which in the eyes of some is a good representation of the entire Last Jedi movie. Might as well get it out of the way as soon as possible.
There you go. Even though Heather couldn't be here, she's here in Jedi spirit, and she said, it's a fun alternative, but doesn't change anything story-wise for me. Totally agree. I don't like it. I mean, this is similar to, The Force Awakens, where Luke's severed hand was like the opening shot, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. So, Page Gun Jam. 33 seconds. This one, it's real short. It's just, she's kind of lined up in your favorite bombers, my friend. And, she's at the helm of the guns, and she got raspberry jammed.
Yep. Got it all up in that gun.
So she fixes it, boom, 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 and takes out like 2 TIE fighters. What are your thoughts on this one, my friend?
Just seems like your standard action movie fare, like beat, suspense, setup, payoff. Like, oh no, are the TIE fighters gonna get her? Nope.
Nope.
She clears the jam just in time to get them.
Just in time.
And it's like, it would have meant more if we bonded with the character sooner, I guess. But
Hey-o.
that doesn't really happen. So
And it goes back to like almost like a double jeopardy. Like, oh, my guns jam, boom, fix that, and now, oh, the guy died. I have to hit that sensor, get the little sensor control thing to drop the bombs, and
it's like two moments of extreme peril, and one's not so extreme. So I can see why they cut it.
Yeah, like in a 3-minute sequence. Oh, first my guns jam, and then go right to that. Yeah, I agree. Heather said, I didn't need it. I was good with Paige introduction in the theatrical release, which I totally agree. All right. Next one is titled Luke Has a Moment. This clips in at about 1 minute and 2 seconds. Okay. I really don't have to explain this one. I mean, it's basically Luke mourning Han, and I absolutely don't understand why this is not in the film. Like,
right?
It's
just a minute.
Just a
moment.
This is one of the big things. Again, I don't want to be on the negative side of The Last Jedi, but this is one of the big things. So your introduction to Rose is her crying about Paige, who you just met, and you're just meeting Rose, and they're crying. She's mourning the loss of her sister. Totally get it. It makes sense, right? You have an established character as Han Solo. We debated about this before, like, are we going to have a funeral for Han Solo? And then we were voting on it, and I was like, yes. And then you're like, yes. And Heather's like, no. And then you're like, wait a minute. Didn't like John Boyega say there's too much going on and we might not have time to mourn? And yeah. So we did have a Han Solo funeral, which we're okay with. But now you have Luke, who hasn't seen, is not open up to the Force, and has this moment, and you're like, there's you kind of just skip it, It's like, what's that all about?
Yeah. It's like, it hasn't been that long since he's seen Han last. And he probably doesn't hate him. So it's like, what is he doing if he's not? At least have a moment. Like, give us something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously there's a huge amount of guilt what happened with Ben Solo. Totally get it. Like, Han doesn't want to talk to me, but even still, he dies. You should know, you should know how Luke feels about that. Have that moment. And,
yeah, they saved each other's lives. It's like they went through war together. It's like, you don't hang that up and walk away.
Right. And just the fact that he says in the movies, like, I do love the edit sequence that Ryan does there, where he's like, where's Han? And then it cuts right to Kylo. I love that part. I think that's very cool. But like, you come back to it and let him have that moment in the hut, which he does, and just kind of sits there. And then it cuts to Leia having a moment as well, kind of reflecting and kind of like that. I'm like, why is this not in the film? This is almost as tragic as in Revenge of the Sith when they cut Yoda landing on Dagobah.
Yeah.
Like, why is that not in the film? Why is that not in the film? I just like, dude.
Well, there'll be a fan edit by tomorrow that has it. So
yeah, I guess. But again, you have Paige and Rose, who we've never met, and mourning the loss of her sister. But we have Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and they don't give him that moment. It's just, I don't get this one.
I don't know what Ryan's thing is with Rose. Why does he like her so much? Nobody else does.
Because he created her.
Of course. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So Heather says, love this, exclamation point. Should have been in the movie. So we agree. Okay. Next up, Poe. Not much of a sewer. 41 seconds. So this is like a little interaction between your bromance there of Finn and Poe. And they're talking in the hallway and about like Poe basically fixing the jacket, and he gives the jacket back to Finn. That's the jacket that kind of got slashed by Kylo, so he kind of sewed it up and gave it back to Finn. He basically says, this suits you, you know. What did you think about this?
Well, the first thing I thought, looking at the title, was not much of a sewer. Because they're spelled the same. But yeah, I thought it was a neat little moment, and it kind of acknowledges a healing after the fight with Kylo.
Yeah.
And, you know, as cheesy as this sounds, like the power of friendship in helping him get through that, symbolically speaking. So, I would have kept it in the movie.
Yeah, and my friend, I don't know if you caught this, it's a straight up nod to Empire.
Really?
Really, because when Han and Leia are in the corridor of Hoth, in the Hoth base, Echo base, there's a guy, you're talking in the hallway, right? And there's a couple rebel people that cut in between them. And the same thing when Finn, Poe, that's their nickname, Finn, Poe, and it's like, so when Finn and Poe are talking, there's a couple of people that cut in between them, and it's a straight up nod to.
Very clever.
Yes, that's Rian Johnson. He's a crafty one. Heather says, "Sweet moment, wouldn't have bothered me to keep it." And again, this is kind of like your bromance, you know. So, okay. It's kind of weird that you recorded that, is the title of the next one. And that is roughly about 54 seconds.
That's what I say after every episode we do.
It's like, wait, we recorded that? Yes, we did.
Yep,
totally did that. So Finn's kind of moping around, and our good old BB-8 shows up and trying to get him happy. He does a really fun little spin, kind of shows off a little bit more flavor of BB-8, and basically records, he's kind of doing an R2 thing where he plays back a message to Finn, and it just shows Rey, kissing his forehead as he gets into his little Bacta suit tank thing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this?
I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, on the one hand, Finn kind of finding out a little bit more about Rey, and
yes,
there's potential for some character development there. I mean, if he had any kind of romantic attachment to Rey, that's basically a confirmation that that's going nowhere.
Right.
But you know, there's the potential there. There's kind of a sweet moment. On the other hand, it's pretty much just BB-8 putting on a little show for the camera, and I don't know. It would get old after the first time, I think.
Yes,
and it kind of messes with the pacing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then
maybe if you trim this down a little bit, then you could include it in.
Yeah, but basically the title is what Finn says. It's kind of weird that he recorded that, you know, and then takes off because he's got to, you know.
Meanwhile, Heather would say, it's kind of weird that you deleted that.
Her exact quote was, yes, all the yes, like yes.
All caps, two exclamation points.
Yeah.
Which, side note, I have a pet peeve about exclamation points.
Oh, you do?
And there are multiple of them.
Okay.
Yes, it's either 1 or 3.
So
because two looks like a typo.
Yeah. 4.
Like, oops, didn't mean to do that. 3 is intentional. 4 and beyond is just way too much.
Okay. So 1 or 3.
Yep, 1 or 3.
So
pick one, Heather.
She's not even here to defend herself. I mean, she's. Oh my gosh!
And I guess it really doesn't matter because our podcast listeners can't see our notes.
Yeah.
So,
oh
well.
But that's okay. So, you're verbalizing your pain inside you.
Yes. I'm giving advice to people who are giving like future presentations or PowerPoints or whatever. If you want to avoid absolute disaster, Just pick 1 or 3.
One or 3
exclamation points.
1 or 3.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. No big deal. All right. Moving right along. The caretaker sizes up Rey. 37 seconds. So I think this is the main matriarch of the caretakers, and she's kind of filleting a fish or starting to scale a fish or something.
Descaling it.
Yeah, descaling it, and kind of gives Rey the stink eye, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, meh. I don't really care for it.
I kind of like the caretakers, the nuns.
They are fun. They are fun.
Yeah, whoever acted them out nailed it. They remind me of the it's like the 3 fairy godmothers in Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
When they're sprucing up the place with Aurora in the Disney cartoon.
Okay.
I don't know. They're kind of fun, but that scene is ultimately unnecessary, so I don't know. Cut it.
Cut it. Okay. There you go. So next up, caretaker village sequence. 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So this one has quite a bit in it. And in fact, we get Rey running on the beach, which was in a couple of the behind the scenes thing and a couple stills from the set that this is where it comes from, but it wasn't in the movie. And so this is the third lesson, really. And basically Luke and Rey are on the top of the mountain, and she sees a couple boats coming into the village, and Luke is explaining to her that these are invaders and trying to teach, from a Jedi perspective, we can't really interfere. Rey, being who she is, takes off like a mad woman. And this is the second time we kind of see almost like, not as fast as Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in episode 1, but she's basically doing some Jedi speed walking, man. She is like,
yeah, she's booking it.
She's crazy, man. She is like booking it across. And quite frankly, I love this one because then she comes through the door. She busts the door with her lightsaber. She's got lightsaber lit, and they all turn. They're all dancing, and they look at her, and they're like, yeah. There's just like that kind of awkward silence. And then she kind of looks around, and they ask her, does she raise her hand or something, or raises the lightsaber up or something?
Yeah, and then one of the villagers starts spinning one of their
glow sticks,
noisemaker things,
sticks, and they're basically having a mini rave.
She kind of plays along by tilting her lightsaber back and forth, and everybody's like, "Yay!"
Yay! And then the caretakers, and that's the other thing. The invaders were males, so it's like all females on the island. The males are out doing their thing, fishing and hunting, and they come back and they have like a little celebration, which is very tribal, and and there's a guy on a bagpipe, and the best part of this is like R2 and Chewie are there, and I think it's fun. And then of course Luke shows up there, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he kind of chuckles. He's like, "I was, but you ran so fast." I was like, it's just a fun little moment. I think I really did like this one. What are your thoughts on this?
This was a scene that I wish they had included the most.
Oh, okay. So this is your number one.
Yeah.
We're already ranking. We're already ranking here.
Well, we finally see Rey fail at something. You know?
Yeah.
Up to this point, she's pretty much succeeded at everything she's ever touched.
Right.
And it's like, okay, and this is a point of criticism that I still hold against Rey. It's like, all right, give us something. Have some failure, please.
Right.
And this, like, we finally see something. It's like her rashness and crusade for justice, like that type or that part of her personality. It's like that just overrides any kind of good judgment that she has, or like willingness to listen to Luke. And it's like, it's not much,
right?
But it's something.
It's something. It's basically saying you don't see the bigger picture, so you can't just rush into things. That's basically the lesson, and you're right. Like, you just can't always fix something with a lightsaber, and that's really what Luke's trying to teach you on this.
At the same time, Luke is doing his own little, from a certain point of view, dance.
He
straight up lied to her.
Oh yeah, he played her. He played her good.
So, I mean, I guess if you want to interpret that as a kind of, trick he picked up from old Ben, then, maybe it's like, okay. But,
right. Well, and then
would that be something Luke does?
Yeah.
Fanboys debate.
Yeah. So there you have it. And then, Heather said, love this new appreciation for the caretakers, which I agree. I like. Yeah. I just love. I mean,
the music was great.
Yeah, music was great. There's they're all doing something different, and there's quite a few of them in this little village, and I love it. I think it just shows their personalities, and they're not a bunch of sourpusses, which I like.
Yeah.
All right. Extended Fathier chase. 5 minutes and 45 seconds. The log.
Now, this one I didn't see, so you're gonna have to help me out here.
Okay, that's okay. This one is really just what it is. It is extended. They released the Fathiers.
The Fathiers are those like horse camel things, right?
Yes, these are racing horses of space. This is basically them running more and jumping through the village more.
Okay, I'm glad.
And this is the infamous bathhouse scene that we reviewed in the featurette of The Rector and the Jedi. So this is where Warwick Davis was in, but it got cut. And so this plays out. The horses jump through this bathhouse and people go flying and there's naked aliens and so then there's this whole sequence too where they're like kind of running up the side of a mountain, almost like a choo-choo train. There's like a train of them, going around this mountain, and literally Finn says one of the stupidest lines. It's like, this is a shooting gallery, like we have to get out of here because now the Cantabite police are shooting at them on the side of the mountain. And I'm just like,
my goodness.
Gosh, it's so bad. It's
We're in danger.
It's like an Anakin.
Need to get out of here.
It's literally like an Anakin thing from the prequels. I'm like, yes, you're shooting. Yes.
Oh exactly. My goodness.
Yes. So you didn't miss much. You saved yourself 5 minutes and 45 seconds. It's too long,
Yeah.
Heather, I quote, "I got bored. Way too long." End quote.
I just want to say that it's really sad that a lot of people worked for quite a long time figuring out the costumes for these aliens, building the set, rigging all the special effects and filming it.
Yeah.
Only for it to be cut.
Well, and just think about this too. Like Warwick Davis is like, yes, my streak continues, and it's on the cutting room floor.
Oh
no favorites here. It's like, okay, all right. Mega Destroyer Incursion extended version, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Okay, so this is Finn, Rose, and DJ suit up in their First Order uniform, and they have to cross through the Star Destroyer to get to their flux capacitator or whatever they're trying to do. The shield.
Yep.
The tractor beam. No, the hyperspace tracking. That's what they're doing. And they're walking through kind of like almost like it reminds me of almost like an office setting where like everyone's doing their kind of thing and they're walking through. And I don't even know what you want to call him because he's in a white coat. He might be a security officer, I guess would be it. We see this guy when they actually get to the hyperspace tracking, and he's one of the guys that kind of apprehend them. But he kind of notices them and starts chasing after them. They get to the elevator. Finn's frantically pushing the button, beep, 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 and it finally shuts. And but then there's two sides to the elevator, and opens the other elevator door, and some stormtroopers come in. And they're riding the elevator, and one of the stormtroopers looks at him, and it's kind of eyeing Finn, and there's some tenseness there. And it turns out this is Tom Hardy. And Tom Hardy's like, "Hey, Finn, how you doing, buddy?" And he slaps his butt, and there's a good little ha ha ha, didn't see you as an officer, and they're on their way. Actually, I kind of like this because there's the when the elevator opens, it's the classic door sound from like A New Hope, and I was like, oh, yeah. There's lots of nods in there, some subtle things, and like Rose actually grabs like her holster. There's a quick shot of that, and there's DJ like kind of stopping her, and there's actually some tension there, which I'd like, because the cover's almost blown, but it's a fun little like out of character moment for a first order stormtrooper to kind of like, hey buddy, like glad you made it as an officer. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What's your thoughts?
Gives the stormtroopers a little bit of personality, which is always good. But otherwise,
yeah,
I don't have much tolerance when movies have wild goose chases.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Canto Bite sequence, but
Heather says, I like the stormtrooper interaction with Finn, but otherwise didn't need the rest of it. So there you go. Well said. Rose bites the hand that taunts her. 1 minute and 5 seconds. So this is the execution scene on the deck of the Star Destroyer of Snoke's Star Destroyer, where Phasma's like, we got to make them hurt. They can bring out the executioner stormtroopers, and here's Hux run his mouth again, and he notices Rose's necklace, I think, and just kind of spouts out something nasty to her, blah, blah, blah. And then Rose bites his finger.
I didn't like it.
Dude, when she spits, I'm like, it's so fake. I'm just can't even handle it.
Yeah. It just felt like too slapstick.
Yeah.
And just inauthentic, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word for what I'm feeling, but it's just like,
it's not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Cut it.
That's like a Marvel thing, but also like a kids movie thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
And neither of those are Star Wars. So
yeah. And then
glad they cut it.
Heather says, ha, ha. 1 exclamation point for you, my friend. Poor
good
Hux.
job.
Yeah, poor Hux. This one. All right. Phasma squealed like a whoop hog. 1 minute and 30 seconds.
A whoop hog, you say?
A whoop hog. Yes.
That might be the second stupidest thing Finn's ever said. Okay.
Yeah. This sequence is a little bit different. It's a different fight sequence. Finn and Phasma still exchange some unpleasantries to each other. Finn does say something about a whoop hog or whatever. But Phasma loses an arm, which is a very classic Star Wars club.
Yeah, it's like color by numbers. Here's number 42.
Yeah, somebody loses appendage and Phasma's there, which personally I wouldn't mind that if somebody did, you know, because again, that is a classic Star Wars thing. But basically, Finn is calling her out as a traitor. First Order stormtroopers kind of react to that, and then she takes out the stormtroopers, and then tries to take out Finn. But then Finn takes her out, and she falls. She falls not into a ball of fire, but just kind of falls. So,
well, in this deleted scene, he like shoots her with a cannon,
like a big gun.
Yeah, and she just goes flying off.
It's like
into who knows where.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a weaker fight scene. So I'm glad they cut it.
Yep, me too. Heather says, "I didn't need this." So there you go. Rose and Finn go to where they belong. So this is basically 27 seconds of a little flight sequence out of the Mega Star Destroyer and going towards Crate. I mean, it shows a little bit more scenery. It kind of shows the ship kind of falling apart, and then a classic kind of in the shuttle behind the scene, you know, behind their heads kind of cockpit shot, which I like. Again, that's like a nod to, you know, you see that in Episode 1, you see that in Return of the Jedi. There's quite a few little shots of, you know, in the shuttle type thing. And it's okay. But again, the dialogue is kind of wonky. It's like, oh, this is where we're going, you know, like, so.
I felt nothing when I watched this scene.
Right. Yeah.
It was just lifeless to me. So
Snippet. Yeah. Heather said, didn't hate it. Probably would have liked to see it if the Canto Bite scene was shorter. Kind of closes that loop, you know. Yeah. Next up, we got two more. Rey and Chewie in the Falcon. 11 seconds. Basically, they show Rey and Chewie come in with the Falcon on crates and see a lot of explosions down there and kind of pull a Padme and say, we're going to go a different way. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you a bit more perspective on the Kylo Luke fight.
Yes.
And a bit more context of where Rey and Chewie are. So,
take
it or leave it. I wouldn't care one way or the other.
The perspective is nice, seeing like it from a different perspective. So I like that part, but again, not really necessary, you know, again. All right. And then Heather says, cute, but not needed. So there you go. And then finally, the costumes and creatures of Canto Bites, 1 minute and 29 seconds. So really, like, for me, this is just a bunch of shots of the different aliens in Canto Bite. That's really what it is. There's no dialogue. I like it because it goes back to your what you said earlier, Aaron. It's just like they spend all this time in the costumes, the character designs, and you don't really get to see it. And like Canto Bite, like we talked about, they have that one cool shot of like where it kind of goes through the different tables and it's a steady shot, you know, steady cam shot. But you don't get to see a lot of the interaction and what's happening in that space in the casino. And I like it. It's like it gives it more. It just shows the environment more. It's something like I would have loved the same shots in A New Hope in the cantina. Like I want to see more of this, you know, because I'm a creature costume guy, you know. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm kind of torn. I mean,
right.
I'm starting to think Rian Johnson really had this idea for a casino and what high-class Star Wars living would look like.
Yeah.
And wanted to put that in the movie at all costs. And if he had made some more tweaks to the story, maybe that would be acceptable. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like a playground for movie making when perhaps that's not the best thing for the movie.
Right. It's almost fan service, you know?
Yeah, but to himself? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so Heather says, love this, but not quite right for the movie. Which I get. It's too heavy-handed, I guess, you know.
It's like all the movie magic without the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think again, if it's in just a little bit because of the story, I think that's where it fails. But if it's like in a just slightly different, it might have worked, you know?
Yeah.
So there you have it. That is all the deleted scenes from The Last Jedi. I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones they gave us on the old Blu-ray.
Yep.
So you said your favorite scene is what again, Aaron?
The third lesson, like the
caretaker
village.
Yeah, yes. So that's your number one. I would say my number one is Luke has a moment. I really wanted that in there, so that would be my number one. So
that'd be my number two.
Right. So then I would say caretaker village is my number two, and maybe a third one. Trying to think if there's.
I'm not sure. I have a third one. I think I'd just pick those two. Maybe Rey and Chewie and the Falcon.
Okay.
I'm gonna sure. Why not?
All right. I'm going bromance. I want to see a little Finn.
Oh, yes. That's my third.
All right. There you go. Because it's a nice little moment. It's a nod to Empire, and it's not that long. So, but it also develops their characters a little bit, you know. And again, it shows that Finn still has a jacket. And you're like, doesn't this dude have like other clothes? But it's like, dude, this is your jacket now, and you know, there's a little friendship there. So there you have it. All right, so there you go. You know, I get again. This movie is meaty, and I think these were. The only one that, two of them, I think, like the R2 should be in there. You know, the third lesson, because again, Luke references that in the movie. Like, I'm going to teach you 3 lessons, and they cut.
We only see 2.
We're going to show you 2, right? And I just having the moment of Luke mourning for Han is Again, that one's a head scratcher for me. So, all right, moving on to Katina Chat. Aaron, what is happening in your space right now, my friend? Any geeky things going on?
Not much, I'm afraid. It's all hands on deck for finals next week. So, yeah, I've not had a Star Wars moment to brag about.
It's dry because you're actually, having to do schoolwork. I mean, come on,
Yeah, man. Real life's getting in the way.
It's getting in the way. Yeah, for me, listening to The Last Shot, which is very good.
Right on.
It's good. Getting kind of my Han Solo piped up. I'm ready. I'm getting ready. Seems like every other day they're releasing a poster or some featurette. I'm like, yes. I'm ready. And I'm getting to the point though where I just like I don't want to see anymore because I don't want it to be ruined. So there's that. So today is. The day of this recording is 5/1, so it's official 501st day. So shout out to the 501st. Hey, 501st!
And hey, this Friday
is May the 4th.
International Star Wars Day.
Yeah. May the 4th be with you. And I will be trooping on May the 4th. So if you're in the Chicagoland area and want to go to Orland Park Walmart, I will be there. So from 4 to 7, we'll be doing a little charity thing. And
fantastic.
And then Saturday is, Revenge of the 5th, but it's free comic book day. So
what?
Go support your local comic book shop and go get some free comics. And I'm sure there will be people being geeky and dressed up and all that stuff. So I would encourage everyone to support your local comic book shop and get some free comics while you're at it from free swag.
Hop to it.
Yeah, it's a fun little, all the major distributors, Marvel, DC, Image, they develop, free comics just for that, to get people in the local comic book shop and buy some comics, so there you have it. So yeah, that's May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th, 501st Day. I mean, can't get any better, dude. It's May Star Wars, dude. May's Star Wars month, so there you have it. All right, Aaron, you want to wrap us up?
Thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Podcast. Once again, you could check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. We want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes, or you can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Call in and leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787.
Yeah, let us know.
Leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on an upcoming podcast.
Yeah, let us know about what your favorite deleted scenes were.
Yes, please. And you can catch our entire backlog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. That's www.wstrmedia.com. Now you know all the ways to get a hold of us. Next week, only one thing we talk about.
Well,
Star Wars.
Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll go see Infinity War and it'll be Across the Universe.
Across the Universe! a different universe to a multi-universe, or
multiverse.
Multiverse.
Which Marvel universe is Star Wars in? It's like Earth 629957, whatever.
Yeah, Earth 52. Well, no, that's DC. See, now you're messing up. I don't know.
See, you're not a true fan.
You're not. You're messing up those comics. You're messing up. Yeah. Star Wars is in there because it's in the Disney universe. So, yeah.
All right. Yes. Disneyverse.
There you go. Yeah. So, we'll talk about Star Wars, maybe some Infinity War. We got, there's a lot going on, probably another like 5 or 6 Han Solo featurettes.
Yeah.
20 different TV spots, so
that's just how we do.
That's the Disney machine, my friend. So
I think, Todd, you and I know how to wrap this episode up.
This
is podcasting.
Go see Infinity War.
We should make some deleted scenes from this episode.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Just cut out news of the week.
News of the week.
Scene.
Yeah, here's a deleted scene for you.